All right, it is 16:50 hours, Tuesday, the 9th of April, 2024, and I am meeting up with the Williamson County Emergency Management Agency Reserves to do a tour of the National Weather Service station here in Nashville. We're going to be observing a balloon launch, and we are going to be doing a tour of the facility. Really looking forward to this. I'm not really what you call a weather nerd, but I am really kind of curious about how all this works and just kind of seeing behind the scenes. So we'll see what it shows us.
Where they were asking, you know, what do we do with it? And I was like, well, make sure that all the hydrogen's out of it. But once the hydrogen's out of it, just
a souvenir.
throw it away, yeah, or you have a souvenir. But there are people that actually go and collect them. That's something I've learned a lot recently. There's people, it's public knowledge, so you guys can track them. Like literally as soon as we launch this balloon, we can go back inside and we can literally see where it is. So, do you guys know how many you're expecting?
I told
Two that has that dark colored shell. Most of them, if you drive by, are going to be a white color shell.
Yeah.
I kid you not, when they built our office and they brought the radar out here, they decided to give it that dark color, even though the paint was more expensive, so that it would help blend in with the surrounding trees. I kid you not.
Okay.
It's still sticking out, but it is something that's unique.
Camouflaged
the other
it really
office,
well.
Is actually in Oregon. So us and the Portland office have the dark color shell. All other radars you see are going to have that white color shell. Let me get that information.
For a move from, they start building windmills just about 10 miles from the weather station.
Okay.
And that's really impacted the radar.
Have any of you guys been here before? You've been here? Anybody else been here? So if you guys don't know, or I'm sure most of you guys know how our operations work, but we do always have two people here, 365. Sam Schamberger is here with me tonight. He's the lead on here. Nice little tongue twister, and he's getting the balloon ready for us tonight. But notice how this is now way over here and this is way down here. So that's just, you know, if one of your cell phone apps said that they use this model, then if you were in Utah, you would show that you're expecting rain.
save on the helium bill.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so over time these have gotten smaller. The other thing that's cool, there are people that will go out. I can show you guys when we go back inside. You can actually track these like a
Does the vulture help with production?
Those have been, I'm glad there's yeah. So the vast majority of offices use hydrogen just because it's the cheapest gas. Some offices will use helium if they're co-located with schools for safety reasons, but helium is very expensive. It's actually used in the medical field for some machines, so it can be very difficult to get sometimes. So our office uses hydrogen.
I say, if you go up in flames, should we help?
No, it's fine. I made it this long. It's fine. Now,
I'm not dead yet.
basically, this nozzle is, it won't take that long.
All right.
I say it won't take that long, and usually the entire process takes about 10 minutes to do. So, pretty much we have a bunch of strings that we have to tie to be able to tie everything together. We do have very alert parachutes just to make sure people don't mess with it once it falls or can find it. So this has the tag that I don't know of any instances where it's actually done anything.
Well, is there a standard modem that?
Yeah, I think there's a standard, just be aware.
Yeah.
And the thing is, they do, those, since they are being able to be tracked, they know that. I know the British Airways fly from. We do have to do training just to make sure we're not going to blow ourselves up.
Granny, yeah, for sure.
And you have to launch, I think it's 20 balloons, basically supervised, before you can do it by yourself.
Oh.
See?
So like I said, just really tight knots. Now I always like to use the analogy with people that the balloon is usually bigger and heavier than most people think it is, and this instrument is usually going to be lighter. It's usually going to be lighter, but a lot of times people like to hold the balloon, so I will play nice and let all of you guys come take turns and hold the balloon. I promise I won't let you let it go.
This reminds me of a terrible incident as a child.
Did you float away?
If y'all need a group picture, we can get a picture. Yeah. So a little bit heavier than a lot of people think. Be careful of your head.
Yeah.
I've almost been bopped a couple times by kids. I'll usually let kids do this, and they'll go whoop, and then I'm like, okay, let's not blow this up on my head, please. A little bit quicker than you guys thought, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, usually if they're on the radar, they disperse.
Typically, what elevation does that peak up out at?
Way up into the stratosphere, about 100,000 feet. So.
Well, how long is it?
2 hours. About 2 hours.
By assigned vantage point. Yes, that's good. Is it okay to take pictures here?
Oh yeah. Take all the pictures. Bad weather, Memphis and Morristown are. So our other backup office is actually Dallas. Sham actually, a couple years ago when they had all that flooding, their operations went down. Sham is actually the one that issued all their flash flood warnings for them. So we can back up other offices that way, and that way we're just in there being safe.
Do you
So
have to learn Texas to go on to do that? Do you have to learn to speak Texan to do that?
he's from Texas, so yeah. It worked out really well.
I understood what they were saying.
But this is all of the balloons that are currently up in the sky. So you can see there are some kind of holes, but all over Europe, Australia, and then obviously all over the US, all the balloons that we just launched. So our balloon is obviously...
What's the weather up there? Well, the NWS said, and it really does help inform decisions.
And I will say, I know we haven't in the past with you guys, but I know some of the other counties, I mean, we can send briefings like every morning if that's something like for the larger events that you guys wanted.
We usually call in because we're not necessarily, we alternate shift people all the time.
So what was your name again?
Caroline.
Caroline, thank you.
Caroline Adcock.
Nice actually put a face to the name.
I always feel that way when I meet people for the first time. Like I know I took ICS 300 400 last year and Kate taught it, and I was like, you've called me a million.
Hall.
Y'all.
And he's out of Kentucky maybe. That dude is spot on, and he can, I mean, he's awesome. Hey.
So we just finished the tour of the facility and getting to see the balloon launch, and quite honestly that was a lot more entertaining than I expected. Learned a lot about how the operations work here for being able to not just predict the weather, but the data collection for being able to get to the point where you can make the predictions and the forecasts. It's interesting to see where all the data is coming from and how it's gathered. And I do have to say that, you know, a good shout out to not just Nick and Josh for having set this up, but to Caroline Adcock for having given us the tour. Thank you so much. You're an awesome host, and we all enjoyed it greatly. Thank you so much.